welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got another book talk video to share with you guys. And today, we're talking about Bunny by Mona Awad. Now, I'm a little late to the Bunny party. This book came out in, I believe, 2019. But the other day I was just scrolling through Goodreads looking at the people I follow there and the books they've read. And I saw this review pop up from one of the booktubers I love to watch, Books in Lala, and she just said this, ha 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 ha, what? And honestly, that was enough. I was like, you know what? I'm ordering it. I ordered it. It came. I read it in one day, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about this because I loved it. I loved it. Now, the first thing you need to know about Bunny is it's hit or miss for a lot of people. It seems you either love it or you hate it. I was lucky to be in the camp of love, and I feel like this book, as the years go by, I feel like this book is going to become a classic. At first I thought cult classic, but no. I think just classic. That being said, it's crazy. It's weird. It's not going to be for everyone. I don't even really know what to say. I was going to write a script for this, but then I thought, no, you know what, just sit down and talk about it, because I finished it probably 10 minutes ago. I said, come and sit and talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to give you the basic plot synopsis, and then we're going to move into spoilers. It's not going to be like a regular book talk video where I go through point by point every bit of the story from beginning to end, because it would sound too insane. It would be too hard to do. So instead we're going to do plot synopsis, and then we're going to talk about some things, just some general things. So if you get to the end of the synopsis and you're like, well, I'm not sure if I want to read it yet, and you don't mind having some spoilers to help you decide, keep watching. So this book is about a girl named Samantha, and she goes to a very sort of elite New England university. It's called Warren University, and I believe it's in Vermont. And she's kind of an outsider. She's got the one friend called Ava, and she's in a writing program at this university where she's constantly being put in groups and classes with these girls that she really can't stand. Now, these girls are the bunnies. They all call each other Bunny. And I guess the best way I could describe it, using other media, because this book clearly pulls inspiration from other media in a way that's clearly honoring it, but also then taking it in and becoming its own thing entirely. So the media I think it most pulls from is the 1988 film Heathers, starring Winona Ryder and Christian Slater. It takes from that. It takes from Frankenstein, for sure, in some ways. It's also dark academia, so maybe throw in a bit of the secret history, and then just roll that into a ball and then have it written by like David Lynch or Stephen King. Just crank it up to 11 and you have Bunny by Mona Awad. So Samantha is going to the school, having to spend a lot of time with these girls that call themselves the bunnies. And the thing about Mona's writing is it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, it's so detailed, it's so textured, that you just can't help but love what you're reading. So she's at this school, and there's the bunnies, and she's describing them to us. She's describing them to us in ways that is just very detailed. They're perfect, poised, prim. They smell like cupcakes and lemon and the most beautiful perfumes, and they're pink, and their hair is perfect, and it's shiny, and it's blonde, and it's red, and you just really get a sense for these types of girls. Anyway, one day, quite out of the blue, Samantha receives an invitation from these girls to attend what they call Smut Salon, which is like a gathering that they have with each other, and she is now, for reasons unclear to her, being included. And one thing I will tell you that is kind of a spoiler, but not really because you learn it so early on in the book, is that what these girls are doing when they get together is they are taking a literal rabbit, and somehow, we don't know how, it's never explained, which I love about that. I love that about it. It's never explained. They don't try to tell us how it happens. They're taking literal rabbits, and with some form of magic, they're turning them into boys. So they do whatever they do to the rabbit. It I don't even know how to explain it. It pops, and then there's a knock at the door, and when they open the door, there's a boy there, and the boy is conjured from their imaginations. So these girls, they have fairly simple imaginations, and so the boys that come to the door are fairly simple. So from there, as you can imagine, it gets pretty murky, pretty dusty, pretty dark. But I loved that about it. In reading through some of the 1-star reviews that it had, the things that the people complained about were things I loved about it. That being said, would I recommend it to everybody? Absolutely not. It's not going to be for everybody, which I think I've already said, but it's just not going to be for everybody. So if that sounds weird and you don't think you'd like it, and you don't like weird books in general, or books that take you on an absolute roller coaster ride, then this isn't the one for you. That being said, can you hear my little dog? That being said, let's get into some of the spoilers where we talk about some of the things that happen. Again, like I said, not normal book talk. I'm not going point for point. We're just now going to talk about some of the things, because this is a really difficult book to talk about. But I already know this is going to be one of, if not, well, I won't say my top favorite from 2023. One of my top favorites from 2023. But also, I need to put an asterisk on that and tell you I've had an amazing year so far. An amazing reading year so far, and it's only the end of the first week of March. 2023 is off to an amazing start. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the things. If you don't want to hear about these things, now's the time to go. But let's talk about it. So, one of the things that I really liked about this story was that you, even to the very last page, even to the very end, you're not entirely sure what's going on. You have your theories, and that's about as good as you can do for this story. You have your theories. One thing I know for sure is that a lot of it seems to be an allegory for writing and the creative process. Like in the way that the bunnies were only able to sort of conjure up simple men from books and stories and movies that they'd already read or seen before. Samantha is able to conjure up, when she conjures up her creature, which doesn't happen to be from a bunny, but when she conjures up her creature, he's more complex in the ways that the bunnies weren't able to fully form his character, like literally his body and his character, because the ones they create, if you ask him about himself, he will scream until he dies. He will, things scare him. He can't function as a normal boy would. But when Samantha creates her boy, which all of the other bunnies then go on to fall in love with, he's a more developed, fully functioning boy in every sense of the word, in the way his mind works, in the way he can interact with you, in the way that his body works. So I thought that was sort of an interesting look at the way that You know, some people have that deep creative talent and some don't. So I thought that was really interesting. Just in general, I thought it was just, all of it was very much a look at so many things. First of all, it was hilarious. Which, like, hilarious in the way that if you like those dark, twisted, weird things and you can find them funny, there were parts in this book that made me laugh out loud. Parts I underlined to read to my husband when he got home later because I knew he would also laugh out loud at them, and he did. It's very funny. It's definitely satire. It's biting satire in some parts about different types of things, about the darker side of women's friendships, about status, you know, because Samantha's not a privileged girl, you know, she doesn't come from wealth. A lot of the other students at the school do, and a sort of look at how they're the sort of peak of the popular girls and Samantha is sort of an outlier. There were many times when reading where I thought that Samantha's original friend Ava wasn't real, was a figment of her imagination, and as the story goes on, you know, there are points where you're still trying to figure that out. There were points where I didn't think the bunnies existed, that I thought they were a figment of her imagination. Then we get to the point where, like, her thesis advisor and her workshop teacher, I didn't even think they were real. I kept changing visions, moving through ideas. It's a book that keeps you guessing, it keeps you thinking, it keeps you wondering. And like I said, I read it in a day. I couldn't put it down. It was so good. I cannot wait to read more from Mona Awad. I know she's a Canadian author, which if you've been around my channel for a while, you know when I come across a great Canadian author, I'm always so excited because I myself live in Canada. So I think that's all I'm going to say for now because this video is getting longer than I intended it to. But I feel like this is a book I'm definitely going to be revisiting as my dog prances around the living room. I feel like this is a book I will definitely be revisiting many times. And I think maybe like in the next year or so, I'd like to reread it and see what insights I take from it after a second reread. Because I feel like this is a book that once you know how it ends, when you start it again, you're going to get a lot more different thoughts and feelings. And maybe after I reread it for the second time, we can go more in depth into those sorts of things. I know this is a book I'll be processing and thinking about for a long time. So I'm sure in a couple of days I'm going to be like, oh, this, thinking of things that I wish I had said in this video. But I just want to get it up and get it out, share it with you guys, and we will revisit Bunny in the months to come, I'm sure. Perhaps in the fall. Oh. But I really enjoyed it. I think Mona Awad is a very talented writer, a very different writer, a very exciting writer. And I know she has other books out, which I'm sure I will visit, and I look forward to what comes in the future. So for now, that's where I'm going to leave it for Bunny. But like I said, subscribe because we're going to be revisiting this. And leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to hear things that you picked up that maybe I didn't. Do you think I'm completely off base, or do you agree? Things like that. I love talking about books. I love learning new things about books that I didn't see. So share your thoughts. And that's going to do it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you very much. Bye guys.